Takuya, a student, dreams about his deceased family, indicating his suppressed desires. A teacher reminds him about class and offers condolences for his recently deceased father. However, Takuya is unsurprised by his father's death, which happened during a cave expedition, as he had long expected it. The teacher also asks Takuya to look after a new transfer student. He finds this annoying until she mentions the student is very attractive, prompting him to agree. Then, a school announcement summons Takuya to the history research lab, oddly referring to him as Sir. On his way, Takuya meets Yuki, who urges him to rejoin the kendo club, which he left after his father's death. Yuki is active in many clubs, including the history club. At the lab, they meet Mio. Takuya and Mio immediately argue, so she leaves with Yuki. Takuya waits inside the room. Surprisingly, Takuya's stepmother, Aomi, arrives. It was her who was summoned, not him. She's involved in a troubled coastal construction project and will inspect the site. Professor Ruoji also arrives and tells Takuya he worked with his father and wants to continue his research. He asks if the father left any artifacts, but neither Takuya nor Aomi has anything. Takuya then chats with Mitsuki, a former assistant of Professor Ruoji who now works as a substitute teacher. She's sympathetic, but Takuya remains emotionally detached. She whispers that she would comfort him if he were sad. Later, a reporter questions Takuya about his stepmother's project, and he jokingly laments the loss of girls in swimsuits due to the beach construction. Back home, Takuya finds a mysterious package he thinks is an adult toy, but it contains a strange object. Meanwhile, Yuki and Mio are researching ancient carvings. A news report shows protests against the construction and replays Takuya's flippant remarks. Lightning suddenly strikes the construction site, causing an explosion. Takuya rushes to check on his stepmother. His stepmother survives, but someone dies in the incident. Site manager Hideo tries to escort Takuya away, but Takuya resists. Aomi asks him to go home, saying she won't return that night. Outside, Takuya meets Mio and Yuki, who describe a mysterious girl who warned them the island is dangerous. The next day, a new female student named Kana arrives. Takuya tries to shock everyone by stripping, but it fails. Kana sits next to Takuya and warns him to stop the construction, or disaster will follow. After school, Takuya seeks Professor Rui to ask about the artifact, but finds him busy. At home, he receives a book on parallel worlds and a letter from his father. The letter claims his father is alive but missing, and instructs Takuya to collect mystical stones and go to Keino Misaki that night. Takuya rushes there, hoping to see his father, but finds an unconscious blonde girl instead. When she wakes, she kisses Takuya and vanishes. His stepmother and Professor Ruoji then appear. Professor Ruoji reveals Takuya's father predicted this and that the artifact allows travel through space-time. Takuya's parents are still alive in another world. Suddenly, the professor pulls a gun and demands the artifact. As Takuya hesitates, an earthquake and lightning interrupt them, likely caused by the blonde girl. Time freezes, and Takuya sees Kana before being transported. Takuya wakes up in bed the next day, May 26, 1994, confused. He rushes to school to question Professor Ruoji, who claims to have been in meetings for days. Takuya finds this suspicious and reviews the book on parallel worlds. Learning the artifact allows time reversal like a game checkpoint. Anything he carries rewinds with him. Takuya recalls his father discussing history's impact on timelines. The book also states the artifact enables movement to parallel worlds. As he reads, Kana silently watches him. After school, the teacher announces the start of summer vacation and reminds students to finish their homework. Takuya asks Mio and Yuki if he came to the research room yesterday. They confirm he did and spoke with Professor Ruoji. Takuya calls his stepmother, who confirms she agreed to hand over research notes, but asks Takuya to organize them first due to their personal content. Takuya invites Mio and Yuki to help. While cleaning his father's study, they discover a locked cabinet. Mio finds notes, suggesting Takuya's father believed Japanese history changes every 400 years due to foreign influence. Takuya says Japanese traditions may have foreign origins, for which his father was criticized. After organizing, the group hikes to Triangle Mountain, where they find Kana leaving flowers near the two stones. She doesn't explain why. Mio continues noting ancient carvings, which are said to be older than the four ancient civilizations. Then, back in town, Takuya sees workers confronting Hideo over the fatal lightning incident. Hideo blames Aomi, though it was his unauthorized order. He tells Takuya's group to stop visiting the mountain because the stones will be destroyed. Mio argues their cultural heritage, but Hideo says the mayor authorized it. Kana then reveals herself as the mayor's daughter, and Hideo flees. Then, that night, Takuya finds a note from his stepmother saying she won't be home. While watching TV and thinking about recent events, he decides to find her. He learns she's at a warehouse being threatened by two thugs. Takuya saves a checkpoint and enters to protect her. Takuya fails to beat the thugs, so Aomi surrenders the documents to protect him. When they try to assault her, Takuya fights back but is quickly knocked out. Using the artifact, he rewinds and tries again with a stick, still fails. After another rewind, he brings a random item, still ineffective. Just as he's about to rewind again, Hideo surprisingly arrives and scares the thugs away with wild gestures. He brings Takuya and Aomi home and promises to help if needed. Aomi expresses concern over Takuya risking his life, but is also proud of how he's grown. She asks him to be more careful since they're the only family left. The next day, Yuki again invites Takuya to join a club, but Takuya declines due to injuries. He tries to skip class and asks Yuki to cover for him. At the infirmary, Takuya encounters Kana and teacher Eriko. He notices Kana's necklace and recalls seeing someone with a similar one in his childhood. Kana tells Takuya that the bracelet she gave him represents her life's fire, not just jewelry, and then leaves. Eriko then shares that Mitsuki is looking for Takuya to talk on the rooftop. Mitsuki reveals she loved Takuya's father, but was rejected. She's now continuing his research and notes Professor Ruji has been acting strangely obsessed with his work, almost like he's possessed. Takuya brings forgotten documents to his stepmother at the research center. Protesters are outside. He refuses help from a suspicious guy named Video and hands the documents to his mother, who rushes to a press conference. Takuya reunites with a reporter who knows he's the son of the famous scientist. His stepmother presents lightning accident data and proposes protective suits, but victims' families protest loudly. That night, Takuya finds his stepmother drunk and distressed. She vents her exhaustion and clings to him emotionally. Video calls with urgent news, but Takuya answers instead. Mio's father decides to send her to the US to avoid scandals. Mio is deeply saddened and unresponsive at school. Takuya is approached again by the reporter, Ki, who is investigating the G-Technic project and suspects the mayor and Gotek are colluding. She gives Takuya her business card. Back in class, Takuya sees a warning on Ki's card about Video and rushes home but is stopped by Eriko. At the checkpoint, he gets a call that his mother didn't arrive at work and may be involved in criminal activity. Takuya catches Video harassing his mother and beats him up but is stopped by her. Seeing her defend Video, he storms out. Takuya meets Ki to learn about Video. They go to a hotel room to talk. Coincidentally, Kana is next door investigating stolen data from G-Tech, which implicates Takuya's mother. Ki believes Takuya's mother was framed. She asks him to swap her mother's real security card with a fake one to help uncover the truth. Takuya rushes home, but finds it's too late. His mother has attempted suicide. Despite trying to save her, she dies in his arms. Takuya resets to the checkpoint and this time throws Video out violently. He searches for his mother again, but finds her in another suicide attempt. Takuya keeps resetting to try different approaches, but his mother dies every time. He reads about canon events, unchangeable events that must occur in every timeline. Frustrated, Takuya gives the real green card to Ki and asks for information on Video and why his mother wanted to die. Armed with proof from Ki, Takuya exposes Video's crimes. Video tries to deny everything but flees when the evidence is revealed. Ki knocks Video out with a flower pot. Takuya recounts everything to her and leaves her to deal with him while he checks on his mother, Inez. This time, Takuya finds his mother trying to drown herself in the bathtub. He slaps her to bring her back to her senses and begs her not to give up. Takuya promises to save her no matter how many timelines it takes. She begins to calm down, and he vows to prove her innocence. The next day, Takuya sends his mother to work and returns to school. Eriko dumps a pile of homework on him due to his absences. Suddenly, he's called out for a meeting. He tells Takuya that she had Video fired and won't let his mother meet him again. She invites him to become her partner in investigating G-Technic's hidden secrets. That night, Takuya and Ki break into the research center. While Ki enters through the front, Takuya sneaks in from the back. Inside, they discover a special glowing stone called Sai with unusual properties, reacting to human minds and producing energy. Takuya's father was obsessed with it. Sai is fragile and must be crystallized to retain its power. Video's plan was to frame Takuya's mother and steal the stone. They now plan to reverse the setup and frame Video instead. Just as things seem to go smoothly, Ki turns on Takuya, revealing she's allied with Video. Takuya resets to the checkpoint again. Takuya lets himself be attacked to get answers. Video and Ki admit to framing Takuya and exploiting his mother's situation for profit. Ki is a freelance spy extorting companies. Her employer is someone from Takuya's school. They tried to flee before things escalate. Takuya had secretly recorded their confession using a guard's walkie-talkie. Both are arrested. Thanks to Takuya, his mother can now continue her research. Takuya's mother discovers in his father's journal that his father still loved his biological mother deeply, which motivated his father to study a mysterious stone. Takuya begins to feel confused, and his stepmother suggests he might need to leave. Takuya vanishes, linked to the concept of parallel worlds. Takuya meets his father, who explains that karma is unchangeable and the chaos is correcting itself. Takuya is sent back to the starting point of his life with some changes, guided by a being named Krina who controls time and events. Takuya wakes up earlier than before, signaling the start of summer vacation. He returns to school to investigate ongoing strange events. Visits the infirmary looking for Miss Ariko, but only finds Kana. He notices Kana's necklace, which feels familiar, but she leaves quickly. While waiting for Miss Ariko, Takuya is caught by Mio and called a pervert for holding Ariko's clothes. He hands the clothes to Mio and leaves. Takuya meets Mitsuki on the rooftop, who talks about the strange changes in teacher Ryu, including his sudden smoking habit and other odd behaviors. Takuya recalls discussions about a curse and a third victim. And Takuya plans to visit teacher Ryu's house to observe and report any unusual activity. Mio insists on coming along. Kana declines, sensing something unnatural. On the way to the teacher's house, they feel like they are being followed. At the mansion, the gloomy atmosphere is unsettling. They meet the teacher's mother, who warns that her son is no longer the man they knew. Teacher Ryu's mansion is mostly empty, except for research materials. He shows them an ancient carpet depicting people burning under sunlight, supporting Takuya's theory. Mio and Yuki sketch the carpet while Takuya talks privately with the teacher about past research with his father on ancient cycles and lost history. Kodai, Takuya's father, and teacher Raizu were classmates researching a 400-year cycle and an ancient tribe, the Takanawa Mahara. Kodai was expelled from academia but continued research with the teacher and physicist Eureka, who pursued a quantum unified theory. Kodai focused on the concept of immutability. Eureka mentioned a mysterious woman living near Kano Misaki, blind with golden hair and white skin, who was Takuya's mother. Kodai and Kei, Takuya's mother, grew close through research. Though blind, Kei greatly helped Kodai. The teacher asks if Takuya inherited anything from his father. The teacher's eyes glow, and he demands Takuya's inheritance. Takuya nearly faints, but is saved by Mio and Yuki, who interrupt. The teacher's mother warns them cryptically, telling them some things cannot be understood by others. Mio reflects on these words and remembers a lightning incident resembling the church in the tapestry. Mio plans to tell Takuya, but is interrupted by news that she must study abroad due to family scandals. Takuya meets Miss Ariko at school. She tries to convince him to attend school to feel better, but there is no magic, only mundane storage items. Ariko explains Nai-Ha, a form of hypnosis where the subject stays conscious. Kana arrives feeling ill. After a massage from Ariko, Takuya and Mitsuki discuss their headaches, suspecting teacher Ryu's hypnosis. Takuya's intimacy with Mitsuki causes tension with Mio. They prepare to confront strange behavior from the teacher. Mio reveals the mountains and church from the tapestry match, planning an investigation at Triangle Mountain. Class tests are strict, requiring perfect scores. Takuya finishes quickly using an artifact to restart checkpoints. Mio shows Takuya a book by Kodai about the Takanawa Mahara tribe, suggesting Triangle Mountain hides secrets. Mio's father confronts her at home angrily with a gun, forcing her to warn Takuya to flee. Yuki surprises Takuya by holding a gun at the door as he tries to help Mio escape. Takuya and Mio search Triangle Mountain for clues. Mio injures her ankle. Takuya carries her back for care. Mio reveals her father's involvement in a corruption scandal related to a major construction project. A tense love triangle forms among Takuya, Mio, and Mitsuki. Mitsuki accuses Mio of loving Takuya. Mio and Takuya argue publicly. Mio calls Takuya heartless amid ongoing scandals. A crowd accuses Mio's father of corruption. Takuya clears the crowd, but is accused of suppressing free speech. Mio's father faces media scrutiny. At school, Mio is bullied, but finds some support from Yuki. Takuya tries to explain to Mio, but she ignores him. Takuya grows suspicious of Yuki. Mio prepares to return to the mountain, leaving a letter for her father. Takuya visits the infirmary. Kana is sick and cared for by Ariko. Kana avoids Takuya. News reports Mio's father resigning as mayor. The city cancels support for the construction project. At home, Takuya's stepmother calls and asks him to care for Mio, saying children shouldn't pay for parents' sins. Takuya decides to visit Mio instead of calling. He meets journalist Cry, who offers help in exchange exchange for information, but Takuya refuses. Yuki tells Takuya that Mio ran away and shows him a letter. They split up to search. At school, Takuya meets Mitsuki, who helps after learning the situation. Mitsuki briefly gets a headache but recovers and joins the search. At the beach, Takuya meets Kana, who says Mio is at dangerous Triangle Mountain. Takuya informs Zuki and Mitsuki, and they prepare to go to Triangle Mountain. They find a cave Mio dug near rocks and must find her before dawn to avoid police involvement. Takuya wants to enter with Mitsuki. Another insists on coming, revealing he reported Mio's father, acting out of jealousy. Takuya punches him and makes Zuki apologize to Mio. The plan is for Takuya and Zuki to enter, Mitsuki to call police. If they don't return by dawn, police will intervene. Takuya saves a checkpoint and enters the cave. They're surprised Mio dug such a large tunnel alone and find underground water deeper inside. They find and open a door inside the cave. Inside is a large area with a skeleton, identified by Yuki as the demon god Genji's underground base. The base was a prison and mine for forced labor under an evil organization. They find bones, prison remnants, and a secret passage with more bodies. Near the skeleton are writings on stones and Mio's backpack, suggesting she wrote a message then got lost. Yuki goes deeper to find Mio, but falls into a pit trap. Takuya follows and finds Yuki barely alive after the trap. Yuki urges Takuya to find Mio and apologize for him before dying. Takuya can't save Yuki. Yuki dies. Takuya leaves Yuki outside, feeling frustrated, and continues inside with Mitsuki. They find Mio's backpack. The ground shakes and they fall into a pit but are unharmed. Using a flashlight, they find a recent skeleton and Dr. Eureka's diary. Eureka researched with Chat Takuya. Her notes reveal a dimensional crossover mystery at Triangle Mountain. The ruins are ancient, possibly over millennia old. Eureka regrets not bringing her full team. She believes this place is a rare dimensional crossover breaking spatial boundaries. Chat Takuya's theory says these happen every 400 years, influencing culture. Eureka studied electromagnetic and gravitational fields in Sakai Machi City, proving past crossovers. She never discovered the cause and foresaw her own death before solving it. She yearned to discover more, but reached a dead end. She recalls receiving the reflection device from Chat Takuya. Suddenly, the flashlight dies. Mitsuki acts strangely after learning Takuya has the artifact, pulling a gun to take it. Mitsuki tries to fight it, but fails, becoming hypnotized. Takuya flees before meeting his old man and finds an ancient coffin. He hides in the coffin, but it collapses, dropping him into glowing water. Mio rescues him. The glowing water is strange, possibly from Sakai stones. They search for an exit. Mio agrees that multiple timelines could explain why ancient civilizations didn't appear in Japan's history. An earthquake causes a large stone to fall. Mio falls into the lake and gets soaked. They light a fire. Takuya wants Mio to rest while he searches for a way out, but she wants company. Takuya confesses he reported Mio's father, but Mio says it's useless to blame him. Mio wants a kiss as a last memory before death. Takuya kisses her forehead and promises they'll escape. He feeds Mio and rests, considering rewinding time but unsure if he'd meet her again. Someone calls. His mother tells him to save the one he loves before she vanishes. After awakening, Takuya wakes Mio and tells her everything. They go to a waterfall where his mother stood and find a sparkling gem. Takuya explains the reflection device to Mio. She's sad that rewinding would erase their kiss. Takuya reassures her and promises escape. Behind the waterfall is an exit. Outside, people remain worried. Kana arrives, disappointed her warnings were ignored, fearing a massacre inside. Takuya and Mio continue down a path and hear a sound in a ruined room. They find a fragile ancient book. Takuya grabs a sword for protection. Following the sound, they find a stone door and open it. Inside is an ancient, huge machine. Mio guesses the machine has been there 100 years. Outside, Kana tries to stop the machine from activating to save people inside. Takuya and Mio meet Mitsuki, who explains the tower is a lightning generator. The machine's activation would incinerate people inside due to lightning. Mitsuki has known about the machine, but not how to enter. With their help, she finds a way. Mitsuki wants the reflection device. The machine activates, shaking and causing an earthquake. Takuya tries to help Mitsuki regain control. Mitsuki regains control but is forced to obey Ryu. To avoid harming others, Mitsuki ends her own life by being crushed. Mio urges Takuya to use the artifact to rewind to the checkpoint and save Mitsuki. Takuya wants to rescue Mio first before rewinding. He destroys the machine with the sword and pulls Mio away. They find a well-like place. Kana and Zuki lower a rope to rescue them. Surprisingly, the place is Master Ryu's mansion. Takuya asks how they knew. Kana says Yuki was tipped off. Yuki apologizes to Mio and is forgiven. Takuya senses time disturbance. The timeline rejects him. Kana knows about the chaos. Though they can't save Mitsuki in this timeline, Takuya promises to save her in another. After saying this, Takuya vanishes. He meets his old man, who tells him to use his brain. The old man is not human. Takuya realizes realizes he'll soon find out more. In this timeline, after displacement, Takuya calls Mitsuki to confirm her safety. He is now focused on saving Mitsuki and uncovering Ryu's plans. On May 26, 1994, Takuya calls Yuki to ask about Ryu. Yuki says Ryu is obsessed with curses and moved into a cursed mansion. Takuya fears confronting Ryu, who uses hypnosis. He recalls Eriko knows about this and looks for her in the infirmary. Eriko is not there, but her belongings are. Takuya finds Eriko sleeping under a bed, having just removed something warm. Ryu also sleeps on the floor nearby. Eriko complains about heat and calls for Aben, begging him not to leave. Takuya wakes her worriedly. Eriko mistakes him for Aben and hugs him. After waking, she shouts, "Mio!" Mio and Zuki rush in. Seeing the striped clothes, they joke about their sins. Mio scolds Takuya. Eriko explains it's a misunderstanding. Outside, Ryu is interviewed, but needs Eriko for something urgent. In the infirmary, Takuya asks what Eriko holds. It's related to curses. They watch a video about curses, all traced to Ryu's house. Zuki has more tapes to watch later. Mitsuki comes looking for Takuya. They go to the rooftop together. Takuya asks Mitsuki if she experiences headaches when in contact with Master Ryu, suspecting hypnosis. She confirms she does, and he learns Ryu's strange behavior began 2 months ago when the curse started spreading. Mitsuki leaves to meet Master Ryu. Takuya follows them to the research room, finds Eriko hiding there, and overhears their conversation where Mitsuki confronts Ryu, who denies change and manipulates her mind, then kisses her. Takuya tries to intervene but sees nothing. Eriko witnesses the manipulation and tells Takuya to forget Mitsuki because she will soon disappear. They leave, and Eriko arranges to meet Takuya later. After school, Takuya meets Kana near Ryu and Mitsuki. Kana warns Ryu is cunning and trying to steal her necklace. Takuya goes to the cafe where he sees Ryu with another man and Eriko disguised. Eriko becomes suspicious of Takuya's knowledge. They investigate Ryu's mansion. Eriko speaks with Ryu's mother, who feigns forgetfulness but is hiding secrets about the principal. They proceed to an old warehouse and find that Ryu's mother was murdered. Hearing the culprit's vehicle, Eriko chases, but the culprit crashes the car. Surprisingly, it is Mitsuki. They rush her to the school for treatment. Eriko returns to the warehouse to deal with the body. Takuya asks Eriko why she investigates Ryu. She hints he'll soon know. Mitsuki wakes but is still hypnotized. She attacks Takuya, who saves a checkpoint before being knocked out. Takuya wakes to find Ryu and Mitsuki present. Things worsen as Eriko is attacked. Takuya learns Eriko and Ryu know each other. Eriko hunts Ryu even after Aben's death and gets useful info. Takuya returns to the checkpoint, tries to convince Mitsuki but fails. Eriko returns, knocks Mitsuki unconscious, and Takuya admits he's from another timeline. Eriko confirms this timeline is correct. Eriko leads Takuya back to the warehouse, shows him bones behind a broken wall, linking it to a serial killing case in the original timeline. The curse's monster is Aben's body, possessed by Principal Ryuzoji's soul. The eternal dimension criminal is a pure thought entity traveling dimensions, interfering with events. Eriko's goal is to capture Ryu. Takuya asks about her identity. Eriko explains that Aben, a scientist, discovered a diagram, Krina, showing all events stem from a single cause, branching into parallel worlds. Aben conducted an experiment to find the root cause, but was attacked and possessed by the criminal. The criminal escaped to the parallel world and transferred from Aben's body to Ryuzoji's. Though Aben's body decayed, his soul still wanders. Inside Ryu's mansion, they find a device to travel between dimensions similar to the relic Takuya holds but damaged. Ryu's goal was to get this relic. Ryu appears but denies Eriko's accusations. Using Aben's skeleton as evidence, Eriko prepares to fight him. Eriko shoots Ryu in the head, but he doesn't die since his body is just a vessel. She disarms him but is also shot. Mitsuki attacks. Takuya shoots Ryu in the heart, who then retreats. Eriko chases Mitsuki, expresses relief that Takuya is safe, and gives him a second gem before leaving. Takuya wants to save Mitsuki, but Eriko says her death is a fixed event and cannot be changed. This timeline begins rejecting Takuya. Eriko regrets Takuya cannot save Mitsuki. Eriko erases Takuya's memories of her and Ryu to protect him from Ryu's pursuit across worlds. Takuya meets the cause and effect guide, who says Kana will lead him once all 8 gems are collected. Takuya returns with 7 gems. On May 26, 1994, he meets Kana. His father explains that changing history means traveling through infinite possibilities, where every event is bound by cause and effect rules. His father believes fate is unbreakable until learning about their existence. Since time is short, he wants to see Takuya as soon as possible. Fate is decided by the weight and momentum of events. Back at school, Takuya begins approaching Kana since they aren't close yet. After class, he follows her to ask about her hobbies. Kana looks for Eriko in the infirmary due to a high fever, but she's not there. Kana is exhausted, so Takuya helps her lie down, wiping her sweat and noticing a familiar necklace. Kana wakes. Takuya finishes helping her. Eriko returns and has something to discuss with both of them at the research room. Mio asks if Ruki knows about Kana, but he doesn't, only mentions the kendo club. Also, someone transferred from Kana's old school. When there's a chance, he will ask that person about Kana. At this time, Takuya goes to the research room and brings Kana to join the history research club. Kana looks over the model made by Mio and Zuki. Although detailed, she finds it inaccurate. Mio probably made it based on a photo, but Kana points out that the photo is from 10 years ago. The Triangle Island has undergone many tremors and erosion, so changes are inevitable. Now, to stop the two girls from arguing further, Takuya suggests they visit the island to take new photos. After collecting enough materials, everyone returns. Zuki will take Mio home, and Takuya will take Kana home. Upon arriving at Kana's apartment, Takuya learns she lives alone. Suddenly, a drunk man approaches and flirts with Takuya. Judging by the conversation, this is not the first time he's come here. Takuya feels annoyed and plans to punch him, but Kana pulls him inside. Just before the apartment door, Kana collapses from exhaustion, so Takuya carries her inside. Her apartment is simple, and Takuya notices she has a lot of alcohol. Later, when Kana's fever subsides, she takes a shower. While getting her things, Takuya accidentally discovers that his father sent money to her before disappearing. Realizing she knows a lot about parallel worlds and soul alterations, Takuya questions her. Kana admits she knows, but can't explain yet. When the time is right, she will tell him everything. Takuya asks permission to leave first. However, when he reaches the gate, he encounters the drunk man again. Concerned for Kana's safety, he returns and stays overnight with her. During the night, Takuya asks Kana if his father is still alive. Kana answers that he is alive, but in the past. Takuya recalls arguing with his father when he remarried his stepmother. His father also told him his biological mother was dead, a fact recorded in history. But Kana warns that not all truths are recorded history, which is just a record of past events. Before Takuya can hear more, he wakes up. Kana has prepared breakfast. After eating, they head to school. At the club, they feel bored after finishing the model. Takuya wants to go to the beach, but construction at G-Tech prevents them. Mio offers her family's private beach, promising to get permission for them. Takuya invites Kana along. Kana initially refuses because of her weak health, but is eventually convinced by the group. The next day, they all set off for Mio's private beach. At a transfer station waiting for the next ride, they see the drunk man again following Kana. Takuya thinks of a way to lose him. He tricks the man into following him into a bathroom. While walking, the man says he knows how Takuya can meet his father, but Takuya ignores him and runs away. The man chases Kana onto a train, but finds it's just a dummy. The group sets a fire on the train to get rid of the troublemaker. After solving the problem, the group continues their journey. After a long trip, they reach Mio's family resort. To be prepared if the drunk man shows up again, Takuya saves a checkpoint here, and the group changes into beachwear. Since it's very hot, Takuya offers to watch over everyone while they swim. They all have a great time, and Kana starts opening up to everyone. In the afternoon, while grilling meat, Kana notices her necklace is missing. Ruki says the meat they prepared has also disappeared. When they go inside, they find the house in chaos, and Takuya's artifact missing. Takuya and Yuki hear a noise in the basement and discover it's just a stray dog. The dog causes chaos, ruining their trip and food, but Takuya decides to enjoy the messy moment. That night, Yuki dreams and accidentally bites Takuya, mistaking him for food. The next day, everyone goes home separately. On the way, Kana collapses with a fever. Takuya brings Kana to his place and helps her recover. While checking her data, he sees a suspicious photo with 3 boulders instead of 2, raising doubts. Takuya investigates and learns the 3rd boulder appeared in 1945. He begins suspecting someone is unnaturally not aging. A detective named Hojo meets Kana and pressures her to reveal Takuya's father's location. Kana refuses. A policeman interrupts, and Hojo flees. Takuya and Eriko find that Kana has changed schools 20 times, always near Triangle Island. Eriko asks Takuya to observe her. Takuya encounters Hojo again, who offers a deal to spy on Kana in exchange for information about his father. Takuya refuses. At the park, Kana expresses her desire to be emotionless like a dog. Takuya tries to comfort her, but she pushes him away. Hojo again tries to involve Takuya in spying on Kana. Takuya smashes the device and leaves in anger. Hojo's boss hypnotizes him later. A rumor spreads that Kana is a prostitute, explaining her frequent transfers. Takuya and his friends try to support her. Takuya finds Kana to talk seriously. He realizes she is immortal and has suffered deeply. He expresses his desire to stay by her side. Kana reveals her painful life. Her mother died, she was alone, and resorted to prostitution to survive. Takuya's family once gave her hope. Kana offers herself to Takuya, but he hesitates. Hojo threatens her, saying he'll kill both of them unless she obeys. stories. At the park, Hojo attacks. Kana reveals the secret. Takuya's father is in another world called Del Granto. Takuya's mom came from there. Takuya saves Kana and vows to help. Her Sai stone breaks. She will die without it. Takuya promises to retrieve a new one from Del Granto. Takuya finds the last orb and activates the portal on Triangle Mountain. His father explains the situation and confirms Kana's danger. Takuya arrives in a new world and struggles to survive. He remembers the urgency Kana is dying back home. He saves a girl from a demon bat. She doesn't speak his language, but he teaches her the alphabet. Her name is Celis. They find a house in the desert. A knight named Aliyah attacks Takuya but faints from exhaustion. Aliyah explains she guards the border from monsters. Takuya asks about the Sa'ai stone, but she doesn't know it. Aliyah explains that monster attacks increased because Earth Mother is angry. Girls are sacrificed as priestesses every 5 years. Celes may be one. Back at the house, Celes makes food for Takuya. Meanwhile, the Divine Emperor learns a priestess has escaped and sends orders to find her. Aliyah trains Takuya in combat. She warns him about the dangers of this world and describes nearby areas. While patrolling, they see one monster protecting another. Takuya thinks about sibling bonds. Aliyah mentions her sick, missing sister. Takuya and Celes go into the forest. A monster attacks Celes, and Aliyah arrives just in time. After a fierce battle, the monster is killed, but the heroine Aya reaches her limit and dies, as Celes had predicted. Before her death, Aya had asked Celes to protect the land from the wrath of Mother Earth. Celes and Aliyah bury Aya and her comrades. Aya's mission is complete, and now Takuya must save Kana. The next day, Takuya prepares to head to the desert quarry and asks Celes to stay behind due to the harsh heat. However, she secretly follows him. Takuya assumes she'll turn back soon, but when he realizes their water bag is torn, he returns, only to discover Celes is missing. Celes wanders the desert, questioning her mother's words, then collapses from exhaustion. Just as she's about to give up, Takuya finds her and gives her water. When that doesn't work, he transfers water mouth to mouth. Their fateful meeting marks a turning point. A year passes. Takuya takes over Aliyah's role, protecting Bien Gate from demons. He and Celes now have a daughter, Yuno, and live peacefully in the wilderness. But Takuya hasn't forgotten his promise to Kana and continues searching for the Sai stone mentioned by Aya. Takuya attempts to cross the desert several times, but fails. He can now communicate with Celes through thoughts and vows to protect her and Yuno. Yuno grows abnormally fast, walking at 3 months, talking at 6, and resembling a 16-year-old by age 1. Takuya thinks Yuno needs friends. This reminds him of his past companions. Suddenly, he hears a noise and finds a wounded talking monster mother protecting her child. She says she was attacked by soldiers from the capital and asks Takuya to protect her child before she dies. Takuya decides to let Yuno adopt the monster child, whom she names Kun Kun. Later, Takuya sees soldiers on a cliff. He tries to reach them, but fails. It turns out they were chasing the monster mother and reported Takuya to the Emperor. The Emperor sends troops to investigate whether a shrine maiden exists. Meanwhile, Celes warns Yuno before she goes out with Kun Kun. Takuya joins them, and they enjoy a day of hunting and fun before heading home. As Yuno feeds Kun Kun, Takuya sees strangers breaking into their house. He rushes home and finds royal soldiers attacking Celes. Though he kills one, he's overwhelmed. The soldiers claim they were ordered to take the shrine maiden back to the capital. As they restrain Takuya, Celes seizes a soldier's dagger and stabs herself in the throat before Takuya. Yuno, returning home, sees her mother one last time before she vanishes. Takuya is left unconscious, and Celes' body is taken. Hence, when Takuya wakes, Yuno reassures him that her mother is still with them in spirit. Encouraged by her words, he regains strength. Meanwhile, the Emperor orders his men to find a new shrine maiden. Takuya decides to go to the capital to retrieve the artifact and find the Sa'ai stone. They leave Kun Kun behind due to limited supplies, giving it a scarf as a farewell gift. The journey through the desert is long and grueling. They suffer through thirst and exhaustion. Yuno collapses, and Takuya desperately searches for water. Miraculously, they find a real oasis, not a mirage. Takuya gives her water and lets her rest while he explores the surroundings. He finds a woman bathing, Sarah, who shamelessly flirts with him. That night, she reveals that the capital is in chaos due to widespread rebellion against the Emperor. Takuya lets Yuno rest at the oasis. When she recovers, they continue the journey, and Sarah joins them, claiming to care about their safety. Hearing Takuya wants to defeat the Emperor, she offers help. It begins to rain, and Sarah leads them to a temple for shelter. She tricks the guards and opens the locked door. Once inside, she betrays them by calling royal soldiers to arrest them. Yuno is taken because she's the Shrine Maiden's daughter. Takuya is sent to a quarry-turned-prison. There, he meets the cruel prison warden Bazaku, who places control collars on the inmates. Yuno is taken to the Emperor. At first, she resists, but calms down upon seeing his face. Meanwhile, Takuya is placed in a cell with others and meets green-haired C and another man called Dua Leo Cucumber. Everyone knows about Takuya's relationship with Celes. The inmates tease him, and he gets into a fight with a red-haired bully named Ro, who steals his food. Takuya, depressed, avoids confrontation. Next day, Takuya begins working and notices the facility resembles the Triangle Island. Dua Leo tries to teach him prison survival, despite doing nothing when Takuya was beaten the day before. Takuya sees few guards and wonders why no one escapes. He quickly finds out anyone who tries is instantly electrocuted by a security system. The Sai stone here is called Spirit Stone. Dua Leo has special privileges and doesn't do hard labor as Bazuku favors him. New prisoners like Takuya work in mining and refining the Spirit Stone. Takuya visits coffin crafting area and refining room. After work, he sees Kun being beaten and steps in to save him. Inmates treat monsters like livestock, but Takuya sets Kun free. The gang leader appears to fight Takuya, but he quickly defeats him. Bazuku arrives, and Takuya and C blame Do. That night, Do's screams echo through the prison. Bazuku enjoys torturing people. Takuya investigates the prison and learns the security system is called Gazelle Tower, the same ruins from Triangle Mountain. He suspects the Sai stone is indeed the Spirit Stone and tries to steal a piece. Bazuku catches him. Even though Takuya has nothing on him, Bazuku humiliates him with an invasive search. Takuya swears revenge. Takuya keeps searching for escape routes. After a year of searching, he finds a well-like exit but is discovered by Je. Takuya reports the escape plan to Dua Leo and C. A new female prisoner arrives, Amanda. Takuya tells the others he found an exit, but Dua Leo says the timing is bad. Takuya sneaks into the refining room and steals a spirit stone. As he tries to escape via the well, Je catches him and climbs out first, only to be struck by lightning. Guards arrive and capture Takuya, throwing him in solitary. In the next cell, Bazuku is interrogating Amanda. Takuya learns she is Alya's sister. He informs her of Alya's death and she reveals the truth. The Shrine Maiden ritual is a fraud used to control the people. Every 400 years, the Emperor sacrifices a woman and calls it a ritual. The resistance army is ready to strike. Amanda asks Takuya to help and he agrees to save his daughter. She gives him a resistance signal. After solitary, Takuya contacts Dua Leo and C, both are resistance members. Each night, Bazuku tortures Amanda for information, gouging out one of her eyes when she refuses to talk. Takuya, Dua Leo, and C plan a revolt. Takuya deliberately causes trouble to be sent to solitary and shares the plan with Amanda. The plan is to create chaos on the day coffins are transported out. Instead, that day, the Gazelle Tower temporarily shuts down, but there's a backup. Dua Leo and C don't know how to disable it, but Takuya does, from experience. More prisoners volunteer to help despite the danger. No one left the group, so they all joined the evening mission. Ju told Bazuku that Takuya was close to Amanda and might get useful information. Bazuku summoned Takuya and offered a deal. If he helped get info from Amanda, he could see his daughter. Takuya pretended to hesitate but accepted. He asked for his sword back to help him talk to Amanda. Bazuku agreed. That night, the Gazelle Tower was shut down and the coffin removed. As planned, Takuya went to Amanda's room with his sword while Bazuku waited outside. Just when Bazuku was about to succeed, a riot broke out among the prisoners. He told the guards to handle it, but they hesitated, so Bazuku went himself. Meanwhile, Takuya freed Amanda and tossed a sword outside for Duleo to destroy the auxiliary tower. Bazuku attacked the main tower with electricity, injuring Duleo and C. He captured Amanda and gave Takuya a choice: kill the prisoners with the tower, or Amanda would die. Just then, Duleo and C destroyed the auxiliary tower. Takuya took the chance to slam Bazuku into the coffin. The tower started collapsing. With the elevator broken, it looked like Takuya and Amanda would die there. The Kun appeared in human form and rescued them. As they neared the imperial capital, Kun began to die. It gave Amanda a dagger and asked to be released. Though painful, Takuya granted its wish. After burying Kun, Amanda and Takuya rested. That night, they talked about family. Meanwhile, Duleo guessed where they had gone and set off to follow them. At the imperial capital, the emperor heard the prison had fallen. A woman offered to take charge of handling it. Amanda and Takuya split up upon arrival. Takuya noticed the capital was in poor condition. While eating, Takuya was spotted by guards. A local helped him escape, but turned out to be Eriko. Before talking, she restored his memories. Eriko said she was sent to catch Ryu, a criminal from another dimension. She worked to protect timelines like the TVA and Loki. She gave Takuya a device to detect important events. Takuya reached the resistance base and reunited with Duleo and Amanda. They learned the capital had chosen a new priestess, Celese's daughter. Some resistance bases were destroyed by a masked figure. The group planned to attack the castle the next day. That night, Amanda visited Takuya's room. They were intimate, possibly for the last time. And the next morning, disguised as soldiers, they split into two teams. Takuya's team was blocked by a sealed door. Just then, a masked girl appeared. Takuya stayed to fight while the others escaped. He knocked off her mask. It was Yuno. She didn't remember him and attacked. Takuya escaped using a bomb. Takuya told his team it was Yuno. If they met her again, he would handle it alone. They found a strange cell. Inside was Ryu. He explained the Emperor had worked with Mother to create that cell. Meanwhile, Amanda's team found a locked room. Sarah appeared and helped open it. Ryu told Takuya where Yuno was. Each priestess sacrificed something. Celes gave her eyes, Amanda her voice, and Yuno her mind. Why she lost her memory. Ryu claimed to know how to save her, but wanted freedom. Eriko arrived to stop Ryu, but he hypnotized Duleo and C to escape. Eriko chased him. Sarah unlocked the door for Amanda and left. Takuya's team found too many guards, so Duleo and C distracted them. Takuya found Yuno. She attacked, but he triggered her memories by reminding her of their past. She began to remember, and he hugged her. Amanda's group found strange machines, and then a robot appeared, and Yuno pretended to be normal. Takuya went to settle his unfinished business, facing the Emperor to avenge Celes. The Emperor turned out to be Takuya's stepmother. She apologized and returned the artifact, explaining her story. She had also been sent to Del Granto and was helped by Ryu, who wasn't human. Eventually, she overthrew him and ruled with the help of Mother. Amanda met a projection called AI, which explained everyone's past. The world of Del Granto was a piece of Earth sent into another dimension by the ancestors. The ancestors, led by Grantia, used Isekai stones to survive. Every 400 years, Del Granto would collide with Earth. Grantia's consciousness lived on to control the cycles. Without a priestess as a vessel, the two worlds would collide. Amanda and her group were shocked. Soldiers came to arrest them, but the Emperor stopped it. She needed their help. Amanda returned to base and told everyone. They decided to help the Emperor this time, for the people's sake. Takuya met Yuno again. She knew she had to sacrifice herself and smiled bravely. He gave her a gem to protect her. Eriko continued chasing Ryu, but was thrown into a sewer. The next day, the ritual began. The resistance protected the area. Yuno entered the chamber as the Emperor gave a speech. Grantia warned Yuno it would be painful but necessary. The ritual would take 1800 seconds. Then Ryu appeared and attacked, but the chamber held strong. Ryu told the Emperor that ending the ritual wouldn't benefit him. He wanted both worlds destroyed so humanity could return to nothingness. The antagonist, Ryu, tries to speed up the synchronization process and activates the prison to capture others, but there are still 25 minutes left. Ensu. Takuya's detection device reacts wildly as dark clouds gather and an earthquake strikes. Yuno worries about her father, but Grantia tells her to focus since the antagonist uses a different approach. A spatial rift opens, and insect-like creatures emerge, attacking the people. Amanda's group stays behind to protect prison pillars while the creatures target the equipment pillars. Multiple spatial rifts appear, pulling people away. Amanda is also sucked in, despite Takuya's attempt to save her. According to Ryu, those pulled into the rifts are transported to another world. Synchronization still needs 900 seconds, but many have disappeared. Ryu takes Takuya's mother hostage to force him to destroy the sealing device. Amid the chaos, a bug-like creature finds Eriko, who is helped back up by Aben. Takuya hesitates, so Ryu uses his power to destroy the sealing device via a proxy. After destroying the prison, Ryu stabs Takuya's mother, allowing them a last moment together. But Ryu reveals his true form and tries to destroy the main chamber, but Eriko arrives to stop. Aben restrains the demon, enabling Eriko to shoot both Aben and the monster, despite her heartbreak. Before disappearing, Aben thanks Eriko for always searching for him. Takuya finds his dying stepmother, who is happy to see him strong like his father. Takuya cries at her passing. With 200 seconds left, a warning appears. The dimensional limit is broken, risking collision between Earth and Del Granto. With only a 50-50th chance, Eriko completes her mission but is forcibly removed, hoping to meet again before vanishing. Synchronization ends. Yuno says goodbye to Takuya, who promises to find her no matter what. A pillar of light envelops them. Yuno and Grantia appear in space, seemingly defeated as the continent nears Earth. Yuno nearly gives up, but Grantia decides to unleash a shockwave, unaware of the risk to Yuno's body. Grantia reverses time, sending human civilization back into the past, creating an endless time loop. Another Del Granto drifts in a dimensional rift, repeating its approach and separation from Earth. The continent's collision with Earth causes an explosion, unclear details. Takuya returns to a checkpoint to save Kana and her mother Amana. He brings the Sa-Ai stone back. Kana is happy, and Takuya mentions Mio and Zuki will bring her more joy. Takuya must leave, as someone has waited thousands of years for him. Kana thanks him before he disappears. Takuya runs to the cliff where Yuno appeared. She couldn't save Earth or Del Granto, which fell 8,000 years ago. Yuno made it there thanks to a gem from her father, but must leave as fate demands. This time, Takuya won't let his daughter be alone. They vanish together. Takuya reunites with his father and now sees his mother. His father praises him. Takuya and Yuno will travel to the Gate of Destiny, the boundary between events revealing the truth of history. Takuya will become an observer of history as his father wished. They have their last conversation. His father looks forward to their next meeting. Yuno and Takuya float in the void of events and discover a sprouting seed that will remember the world. Yuno names the new life Takuya.